Hey, hey. How's it going this morning, everybody? Yeah, I know. I'm glad that I'm back on stream. Okay, a little bit tired because of daylight savings time, but other than that, pretty good. Well, the economy situations are something we always have to monitor. Um, I think, as we've all seen, there's fallout from any number of issues that arise, and obviously, a major banking failure in the United States is something that can have massive, massive ripple effects. Um, Especially considering that there's a lot of blockchain companies that are um, reliant, obviously, on some form of fiat to pay employees and things like that. Um, and given that this was a major SVB, Silicon Valley Bank, in case any of you aren't aware, is the bank that failed last week. Um, can have, major, major impacts on things. So, um, we'll wait and see what kind of fallout there is from this. But, um, we'll, and no, we don't have any funds in SVB or Signature Bank. But, you know, like I said, there's who knows what partners or what major players aside from Circle, obviously, um, who had, I think, roughly 3 billion in SVB. Who knows what other major exposure there is. We'll have to just wait and see, I guess. Well, I spotted you. Now my week is complete. Hey, hey. When bull market? Well, we got to wait for banks to stop failing. Yeah, because it's not just the blockchain industry. These kinds of things affect everything. I mean, there's hundreds of different startups, VCs in all sectors that are affected when a bank fails. And I don't know what the equivalent of like not your keys, not your tokens kind of thing there is with banks, but it's true. Like if you don't have your cash in hand, that's not your money either, we're finding. So yeah, for all of the downsides of of crypto that people have seen in various forms, um, you'd think that just keeping your money in a checking account in your bank would be the safest possible thing, but we're finding that that's not even the case. Um, I mean, with cash, the only alternative is basically putting it under your mattress, right? But with crypto, I would say there's a very specific built-in functionality of maintaining custody of your funds that doesn't resolve around having to have the physical money and putting it under your bank, which I think people are going to start to like. I think light bulbs will start to go off. That people will see like, oh wow, yeah. So it really would be a big plus if I didn't have to have my money in a bank, and because yeah, I mean, it would be great actually to have another stream just to go over like how money moves. Because it's a very 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 complicated process for fiat transfers. It involves central banking because banks need to hold balances with each other, right? If someone from bank one wants to send money from there to bank two, they have to have a balance with each other. And then you have all kinds of settlements and yeah, it's insanity. It's so complex that it does need to be redone from the ground up. And on top of that, when the banks themselves start failing, yeah, it's becomes obvious. Survive, 100%. CV's not going anywhere. Yes, thank you. And yeah, a part of this stream, I'll be just going over the Metaport and going over the transferring of tokens from one to another, over to Ruby, etc. So nice English. Yeah, you're right on time. Yes, sir. Busy as always. All right, so I'm going to get into it. And this will be well, the nice thing is, I think it'll be a relatively quick overview of the Metaport. Because it's simple, which is a huge plus. No, it's not what I wanted to do. There we go. Great. Yeah, right. 2 minute stream to show Metaport. All right. So first off, there's a handful of things that we've done here to just make things overall simpler for people. Um, you can now claim your S fuel within the drawbridge, which will give you S fuel on all scale chains. Because you need to have S fuel on your Ruby uh, chain. There we go. Because you need to have S fuel on your Ruby chain in order to perform your trades, etc. Because Ruby is where the scale liquidity is, the scale token liquidity is, and a variety of other tokens as well. But this will and has automatically set up our wallet for having S fuel on all of the different chains, which is great. We can X out of that. So that's step one. Because you may have S fuel on your CryptoBlades chain, but probably not on the Ruby chain yet, and you need your S fuel in order to transact there. And then here it says obviously which chain we're currently on and where we want to transfer it to. And Ruby being where the DEX is that has the skill token and scale tokens. So whether you're claiming skill or scale, which I'll well, I think everybody's familiar with the multi-farm. We'll just do a little test. So just like usual, connect your MetaMask wallet. We're approving the transfer. That's done. And we transfer it. Yeah. It's a real whale amount transfer for sure. All right, transaction confirmed. And then you can either go right back to CryptoBlades, or you can go to Ruby, which I will share that screen. All right. And then we can connect. Tells us we need to switch, so we'll switch there. Because as a reminder, Scale is a interconnected network of chains. And look at that. We can. I'm not going to sell my skill, but there you have it. Edward, if it hasn't arrived in the other chain, get in touch with English. We'll see what happened there. Because it is very, very quick, as you guys saw. Because, yeah, this is a transfer between two chains. So, yeah, I don't have an exact timeline on when other chains will be connected within Scale, but it is in progress. Yeah, and so the other thing you can do here, which I alluded to before, is you can take the skill that you earn, swap half of that for USDP, provide it as liquidity. Now you can actually stake your liquidity tokens for annualized returns. And I can see that people have already taken advantage of some of that, which is great. So I was told that there was going to be a review between the Scale team and DappRadar at the end of last week, after which there might be some back and forth or some feedback, but it's this close. Like I said, it's a lot of it is out of our hands. We're just really waiting on DappRadar. But that being said, when that happens, that's going to be really, really big for publicizing what we're doing on this chain. Yeah, it's a nice opportunity. And we'll have a full overview of, because I have gone over it in the past, but what it means to provide liquidity, um, and how you can be taking the funds that you're earning already from crypto blades and setting them down here and earning interest on your earnings. I have not, but definitely post that up again if you want to bring that back to my attention. This is Crypto Blades. Ever heard of it? Permanent? I'm not 100% sure. Um, it definitely will be around for some time. And in fact, there was a really great article that was put out by Ruby that we shared that might actually delve into how long the pool will be open for, but I would start there. Oh, I see. I was not switching my. No, I am sure that there. Oh, different account. We're going to be redoing all of the ads as well to help us to optimize that and bring in some more funds. I don't know which chain exactly is next. It will either be Kronos or Telos, though. Yes. So Meter is um, a very fast growing chain in the space, and they have some pretty significant backers as well as innovations that they've been working on. Um, and so when we move to any chain, we gain the uh, access, for one, to all of their users. Um, we have now grant funds, which are distributed directly to the Treasury. So essentially, they're incentives for our specifically for our users. So you can actually claim their governance token, Meter G, directly within the multi farm there, and and this is something that we're going to be doing for all of the chains that we're deploying on moving forward. So it's not just for Meter, where for one, we now have direct access to all of the users that are on that chain, and they can play and interact with CryptoBlades as well as, bridge to any of our other chains or specifically our scale chain. We distribute the grant funding to users in the form of multi-farm treasury. And we develop another close partnership with really broadening our not just partnerships from the sake of retweets or AMAs, right? These are much deeper partnerships that we can essentially tie our project and protocol to the success or potential success of some of these chains. So a lot of opportunities for when we do these deployments. They actually have some restructuring of their uh, incentive campaigns that might open that up to being a possibility. So I will definitely explore that. Okay, I just went over this. Rewind 2 minutes. Oh yeah, I do have the wrong name on here, don't I? Sorry about that. There, how's that? We're working on it. We're working on it. we have a couple projects that want to integrate into the various tech for migrating into our scale chain. So all right, guys, I got one more minute here. If we want to get any other questions on Metaport or scale or whatever else you have in mind. But one of the great things is there's not a lot to show on Metaport and transferring it, transferring into Ruby, and of course farming liquidity, which we also went over just briefly, because it is very, very simple and you can do it all within the drawbridge now. So that's a big plus. It opens us up to not having to bridge out of scale in order to turn your skill tokens into stables, etc. So there's a lot of benefits here long term. Yeah, things in general are very, very busy. Family is all good. As I've mentioned, we're working on sort of a lot of really big things behind the scenes for all of the technology and kind of bundling that into more of a product that's a little bit easier for others to consume, and it's very, very time consuming for us, but also will be extremely beneficial because we can be bringing in a lot more projects a lot more quickly and making that messaging a lot simpler for people. Yeah, I mean, I would say just hold on to the skill, Advo, but you know how it is. People want to sell, and that is something that has to be made simple for people. So yeah, agreed. We definitely hope that things are resolved rather quickly. We've discussed with them. It's just not. There are not very clear benefits for. So for one, we could, I think, move off of BNB chain proper and just keep the liquidity on BNB chain and then have that go over to the gas sys. But if Scale integrates BNB bridging sooner, then we don't need to have an entire new chain because we're not going to be gaining like users in that sense, right? And so part of it is just waiting to see the timeline of Scale integrating with BNB chain, because that would sort of solve everything, right? You wouldn't really need to live on BNB chain anymore. So there's a variety of different concerns there, but yeah, we'll see though. They are waiting on indexing on Scale to release that on the Scale chain. It is already live on BNB, so and Polygon. Gen 2's on other chains. Um, Big part of that is resolving the various liquidity um, segmentation issues that we currently have, as well as bridging issues. So we don't want to be adding things on top of existing problems before building those out. So we're going to be resolving the drawbridge queues and things like that, making those sustainable before we start to add in more things that will be bridged across all of these ecosystems. All right, everybody. I got to hop off. Thanks so much for joining, and hopefully that was informative on how you guys can use Metaport to uh, bridge your skill or scale tokens over to Ruby and provide liquidity or uh, be able to transfer those instead of having to bridge them back over to BNB and deal with queues and things like that. And lots of other great questions and comments. I think we'll definitely have to have another follow up on just the broader, banking and macro financial issues that are, obviously affecting crypto in a very deep way. But other than that, thanks everyone for hopping on, and I will talk to you all soon.